Today I'm here with one of the pioneers of British MMA, One Punch Brad Pickett. Thanks so much for joining us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
So the first question I have for you today is, what does it mean to you to represent the early guys and be one of the first guys in the UK, alongside the likes of Michael Bisping, Dan Hardy, to fight on the big stage for the UFC as an organisation? What does that mean to you?
It made me. It's a strange sort of time, as in back then, as in like when I first started getting into sport, it wasn't even like a career path.
Yeah.
It was like something cool to do. There wasn't also from my weight class. There wasn't. I couldn't strive to be in the UFC because they didn't have my weight class.
Yeah.
So like it was. I kind of made a career out of it, if that makes sense. But now it's a legitimate career path for anyone who wants to be an aspiring athlete to go on and find the UFC. But in my days, it wasn't easy. It's quite cool. I remember like many times people asking me, "Is that legal? Are you allowed to do that?" And I'm like, yeah, no, it's fine. It's all good. Yeah. But it was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed educating the normal people about the sport. Like, it is a sport. Everyone think, oh, you do cage fighting,
Yeah.
and I have such a bad stigma attached to the sport. For me, I I liked to show people the different side of people that do the sport. Like, I always class myself as an Olympian, like such. I do boxing, I do karate, I do wrestling, I do judo, all those sort of sports together, all Olympic sports, and I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't go out partying. I treat myself, but also I'm not even a violent person, really. Of course, it's a violent sport, but I was just very competitive as a sportsman. Growing up in sports, I was a good sportsman as a kid, but most sports I did growing up was like football, cricket, basketball, rugby, all
They
team
were the big ones,
sports,
aren't they? Yeah.
all team sports. And like, you could be the best player on a football pitch and lose a game. You could be the worst player and win.
That's
Where
true.
a one-on-one sport, me, I found it very mentally challenging. Even like a game of tennis is you versus one person. So I think one-on-one sports is very challenging mentally, but then you bring the physical aspects in of MMA, and I think it's, for me, it's one of the. I think it's the hardest sport you can do. Hardest sport you can do physically and mentally. And that's why, me being an athlete, I was very drawn to that challenge.
So, what question for you is, how have you seen a development in the sport of MMA in the UK, and how people view it? Because I feel like now, back then it was viewed as just cage fighting and cockfighting, and now it's viewed as more of a sport, as you said yourself. Back when you first started MMA, would you say it was just non-existent, really? Yeah.
It's a completely different landscape back in my day, and
Yeah.
like I said, that's why I spent a lot of my time trying to help educate people that, like, I'm not like a skinhead with tattoos and take
Yeah.
steroids and beat up my wife. Like, it's far from that. So I did put upon myself to change the the view, but then also things like the UFC, how they promote the sport. They've done a very good job of promoting the sport. Like, for me, Dana White is the best promoter in the world across all sports. I think he's done
I agree with
a
that.
job with the UFC. Now you see how he's moving over into other things. He promotes things very well. He understands how to make stars, how to make the sport look good. They were always very conscious of their brand, not to tarnish the brand at all. And I think they've done a very good job of it. And now, like I say, it's classed as a sport. Like, it's a, if you're a good athlete as a young kid, you could go, right. I want to be an MMA fighter, because this is like, this could be a career path for me. Because like, now you see people could earn. Not everyone, doing wrong, is there could be a lot more money within the sport, but if you do well at the sport, you can earn life-changing money.
Yeah, absolutely. And one question I have for you is about your career. Obviously, you are one of the earliest guys from the UK. You and Bisping and Dan Hardy. I want to ask you what that means to you to be one of the pioneers. I'd say personally, and you hold a victory over Demetrius Johnson, don't you? Which is a very, very big thing. What does it mean to you to hold a victory over one of the greatest to ever do it?
That win has aged very well. Don't get me
Yes,
wrong.
insane.
But at the time when I fought him, it was like 14-0.
Yeah.
And I was 19-4. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm going to beat this guy. Yeah, I looked at the guy and I didn't think there was a lot of hype around him. Definitely a Matt Hughes prodigy. You know, I remember like Joe Rogan on the comms, like it was all about this kid, like really bigging him up and that. But it didn't bother me. It's just me going out to do my job, and I thought I'd beat him comfortably, and I did beat him quite comfortably. Obviously, what he's gone on to do has been
it's incredible,
remarkable. But for me, I just do my job, and I think styles make fights. And at the time, I was a natural bantamweight. Yes, I'd have gone down to fight at flyweight, but I was a natural bantamweight, and I felt I was a lot bigger and stronger than him. And I found it quite comfortable. It was quite a comfortable win for me.
So the UFC London card is coming up. It's next week now. Will you be attending? And I know Nathaniel Wood's on the card. You're part of Nathaniel Wood's team.
Yes.
How do you feel? How do you think his fight is going to go? What's your prediction for the main event as well? Laronen, Evloev, and MVP's also on the card fighting Sam Patterson. What are your predictions for the card overall?
I think it's like, for me, I'm always have a soft spot for the O2 and London cards in general, because I've got a lot of good memories there. It's my hometown, that sort of stuff. I'm going to be there. Obviously, I've got two people fighting on there. I've got Nathaniel Wood on the card. I also have Chanel Dyer. She's making a UFC debut. So I have two people on there, and I'm looking forward to the card very much so. The main event will be great. I know that Mosbar's still not in the country though. He's having problems with his visa. So hopefully that fight still happens. If it doesn't happen, I put Nathaniel's name forward to fill his spot. You know, so like
that'd be very interesting fight.
Yeah, so like if Mosbar doesn't turn up, Nathaniel will be more than happy to step up, especially because he was before arranged to fight Lerone Murphy, but he got injured in the fight. So you know they have a bit of history. So that would be good. But so I'm always excited on the London cards, you know, always.
It's interesting because there's a lot of they do cards in the UK every year now, but they never seem to used to do them as frequently. Like you get cards in Manchester. I actually attended UFC Manchester 2 years ago, which was a great card. But yeah, I think I read
they normally always come to London. The UK once a year at least.
Yeah, the same time every year.
It's always March time.
It's always the day before my birthday as well, as far as I remember.
Yeah. It's always a March card. And then they don't always do it, but sometimes if they add another card, it's more up north, like in Manchester or something like those sort of lines.
They did the pay-per-view 2 years ago, didn't they? But I heard that correct me if I'm wrong, the fight night last year at UFC London is the highest grossing pay-per-view, not pay-per-view, fight night that the UFC's had, the UFC London one, which is very interesting.
Okay.
So do you translate your coaching style along to fighters like Nathaniel Wood now you're coaching them? So do you translate your fighting style from when you were competing in the UFC along in a
yes
similar
and
way?
No. As in, for me, there's so many different styles of fighting. You have to understand. You don't have to be able to do them yourself to be able to coach them, if that makes sense. So like you have to understand a lot of things apply. Don't get me wrong. Like I had a very good, strong wrestling base, but you can use wrestling in two different ways. Where you use it offensively, you can use it defensively, and then you have different sort of striking styles. My striking styles is a lot different to Nathaniel's, but it's not as if I can't coach him how to throw straight shots. I never used to throw straight shots. I was more overhand athletics because I got short arms. So, but also coaching for me goes so far beyond just technical. It's everything. It's like mental preparation. Someone, the experience, coaching them in a way how to approach the sport mentally, physically, how to conduct themselves inside and outside of the cage. you know, you have to be a bit more of a mentor and have a lot. It might also a lot of emotional. To be a good coach, you have to have a lot of emotional intelligence because some fighters need to be slapped to know what you're doing, and some fighters need the arm around them. So you got to understand situations before you go in. Some coaches can be going there all guns blazing and not realize the guy's just lost a family relative or something like that, and that's why he's not having a good day. But you're just going in there and smash it with his spine terribly, you know. So you got to have a good emotional intelligence.
Yeah, I completely get that. As well, so another question I have for you is, so the growth of UK MMA, because it was so small obviously when you started, how would you compare, because it's the fastest growing sport, well, one of the fastest growing sports in the UK at the moment, I'd say. How would you compare the growth of mixed martial arts in the UK, compare how many fighters are on the roster compared to like Brazil and the US, and you know the superpowers in MMA and Russia as well? Do you think that the United Kingdom is catching up to nations like that? Same with Australia, is similar.
100%.
Yeah.
100% in the way where it's always been growing. I mean, like it's growing in America. It's growing. Yeah. It's just going to grow. Obviously, it's going to grow more in America where it's bigger.
Yeah.
But it's still going to. There's always going to be growth. The sport is consistently growing. Where, like I say, you see in all different areas around Europe and everywhere it doesn't matter. Where it wasn't too long ago, France, it was illegal to do MMA.
Yeah,
now they have shows that it's always growing. And like there's more participants in the sport, the level's getting a lot higher, not only just because the level of technique is getting a lot better, because back in the day when I used to do it, it'd be like you go do your boxing there, go do your grappling there, do your wrestling there, then put it together. Now MMA is in my eyes its own sport, and I teach MMA. So when I teach my guys, it's MMA. It's not like wrestling. So even when we wrestle here, we're wrestling from MMA stance. We wear our gloves. You got to get used to wrestling as in MMA. When we're grappling, we do the same thing. You know, so like you have to like make it more MMA orientated. You know, so that's what my gym is, an very good MMA. Yes, we do boxing. Yes, we do grappling. Yes, we do judo. But the pro team is like it's all MMA, you know.
Yeah. Interesting you say about like the grappling side of things as well, because what you're saying about how you all focus on MMA. A lot of like British fighters, I feel like, used to be purely strikers, and nowadays that's kind of changing. Like you look at Aspinall, you look at Leon Edwards, you look at like, well, they're the two current champions, and well, not current champions, but most recent champions. And you look at their style. Aspinall's got a huge jiu-jitsu base, but as well as boxing as well. And obviously Leon's primarily a striker, but you've seen he got Usman's back at certain points, and you watch their fights changing.
That shows. For me, when I was like growing up in the sport and stuff like that, I had to travel to America to train. 100%. I needed a couple of reasons. One, there wasn't enough bodies and partners here for me. I was ranked number 1 in Europe at featherweight for a long time, and it wasn't that big here, so there wasn't that many professional athletes that I could train with.
Yeah.
So I had to go to America. I went out to America top team, trained there for many years throughout my whole career. But then I've come back and I built teams here. Now I have UFC fighters here who don't leave the country and they train here.
Yeah.
Like Lottie Kavanaugh, who fought the other week ago on in UFC Mexico. Yeah, a great performance.
Great performance.
Looked amazing. He's been with me since he was 14. So like he hasn't gone to travel elsewhere. Like so like you don't have to do as much nowadays because people like me been there, done that. Yeah. Come back with the techniques and develop the sport. Because that's what I used to do all the time. I used to go out to America, train, fight, come back to England, coach. So I used to coach throughout my career as well, you know. So I think nowadays the level here doesn't mean you have to go travel.
Yeah, I completely agree with that as well. It seems like the grappling base is improving so much in the UK because of guys like yourself, pioneers that have, you know, brought in from America that style of training. Speaking of Lona Kavanaugh, actually, as you said, he got that huge win in Mexico. What do you think's next for him? I think that's a huge win, big upset as well.
We wanted the fights on the Macau card.
Yeah.
Brandon Ravel.
That'd be a great fight.
Down. he turned the fight down.
He turned the fight down, did he?
He turned
Oh,
the
wow.
fight down, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't know the full reasons behind it, but that's not it. So now we've been moved back. We're still pushing for Brandon Royval.
Yeah.
I think that's the fight that makes sense. And I think he may potentially could be put on International Fight Week in July.
Yeah. Because if he beat, because he's number 6 now. If he gets one more win in the top 5, he could be in the.
He's there,
big
you know.
contender,
Obviously,
yeah.
they're gonna have.
Title contender.
Yeah, I mean, he's right there, you know. Like, so
Yeah.
another good, impressive win against an opponent like Brandon Royval, who's there.
Mhm.
I think he's next in the line, you know.
Yeah. And I want to ask you what your prediction is for the Lerone Murphy Evloev fight. Who do you think takes that? It's a close one, I think.
It's a close one. Obviously, it's a clash of stars. Evloev has got such a horrible start to deal with,
Yeah.
you know. But you see, Lerone is a big featherweight, very strong.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It is really
interesting. And also, not gonna lie, Evloev hasn't fought for a long, long time. You know, so like, it's like, yeah, but he trains out of America Top Team. His coach is one of my best friends, Mike Brown. So I know how good this kid is. You know, so yeah, it's one of the ones who can implement their game plan. You know.
And then a fight against Volk afterwards would be very interesting either way. Like no matter who wins.
Yeah, I think Evloev beats Volk as well, though.
Right now, I think I agree. I think he's well, you know, yeah. Lerone might be a bit because they're both strikers. It might be more interesting. But
yeah, look, I mean, Lerone has a better chance against Volk.
Yeah,
I mean, like Volk has a better chance against Lerone than against Evloev.
I agree, just because of the striking style.
In a weird way, that sounds harsh. I love Volk. Volk is a G, but I do think Lerone and Evloev both go on to win the belt. You know, whoever wins.
Yeah. Big card announcements recently. The White House card. Ilia Topuria is fighting Justin Gaethje. How do you see that fight going? Also, Alex Pereira's moved to heavyweight fighting Cyril Gane. That's an interesting fight. Obviously, I don't know how much Gane deserves another title shot.
The card is kind of disappointing in my eyes.
It was hyped up to me.
It's got the fighters that you wanted to be on there, but not fighting the opponents that you wanted them to fight. If that makes sense. You wanted Jones and Pereira. You got Gane instead. You wanted Ilia Topuria, Makhachev. You got Gaethje instead. So you kind of got a card, but you not got the right partners. So it's still a good card. Don't get me wrong. Even like Bo Nickel, I'd love to see him fight Kobe Covington.
Yeah,
I think that would be a much better fight.
Yeah,
as well, more hype. That didn't happen. So for me, the card in my eyes still a great card if you look at it just on paper, but it fell short to my expectations.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think they said that a fight fell through, but they didn't reveal which one it was. It could have been Jones, it could have been Makhachev, but yeah. I agree. It would have made it a lot more interesting.
Or even like put McGregor on the card, you know, like kind of just. I feel the amount of hype they were giving it, it just fell short for me.
Yeah. And you've also got another fight in Strickland versus Kamzat just got announced as well. That'll be an interesting bout, I think.
Well, that's not on the
not on the White House card. Just another fight that's been announced. Big one.
Put that on the White House card.
I agree. I completely agree. Yeah.
But that would have been okay, brilliant.
I think you should get Oliveira.
Before they promised title fights, and they've only got 2, and one of them's the interim belt.
Yeah, one of them's yeah. They should. Yeah, I completely agree with that. They should have put Oliveira on there as well. I think that would have been interesting as well.
I mean, like,
yeah. So looking back at your career, what would you say the moment you are most proud of in your career when you started back in the?
I always got like some what I call milestones in my career that I enjoyed. First of all, one, when you start to get to a level of fighting and you get to travel a little bit, you wanted to fight in Vegas, you know, like this for me, that's the fighting capital of the world. And I did that, making my WC debut in Vegas. I won by a very rare submission, approving necktie in my WC debut. Got a submission of night bonus. So that was perfect. Amazing debut for me. Another one would be when I made my return to the UK I fought in Nottingham. I fought a guy called Yves Gibron, and I won that fight by knockout with an uppercut. And with the nickname of One Punch, you need to live up to it once in a while. So it was good to actually knock someone out. Because obviously I got so much better at wrestling and that sort of stuff aside wrestling people. So it's good actually to knock someone out. And then, to be honest, in a weird way, when I retired, I think I retired from the sport. Most people, when they retire from sport, it's normally by an injury, or they get cut by the UFC or get sacked. For me, it was good to retire on my own terms. I thought I'd done enough in the sport that I felt myself going down rankings, not up. And I was like, now I'm kind of done. So it was nice to bow out on my own terms in front of a crowd that knew I was retiring that night, and to get like an elevation and the reception I did in London was amazing. You know, so for me, that's a very good, proud moment for myself.
Yeah, you've had an amazing career, and it's you're one of the guys to first do it for the UK, really. And
I mean, like everyone says about pioneers. I mean, I know people like, in my eyes, Bisping has done incredible things when being the first British UFC champion and that sort of stuff, 100%. But for me, I was like the pioneer for the smaller guys, you know, because I was in the WC, everyone was watching me in the WC. But people who don't even know what the WC is, the WC was the UFC, but for the smaller weight classes before the UFC had those weight classes. So I was like the small guys kind of pioneer kind of thing.
Yeah. And you said about your nickname One Punch. Who gave you that nickname?
It came from boxing, you know. So I used to box a little bit before MMA. It came from there. I was 10-1 as an amateur boxer, and my first 5 fights I knocked people out or TKO'd them, you know. So it came from a boxing background, and then obviously, like for me, everyone speaks about my trilby and braces and stuff like that. I wore them because when I got into fighting, my mum said to me, I got it from my granddad. And I'm like, okay, right. He died when I was 4, so I didn't really know him. But then I looked at, because he used to work as a roofer during the day, and at night time he used to do bare knuckle boxing just to earn a bit of money. Wow. So I looked at pictures of my granddad. Well, showed me pictures of him. He used to wear a trilby and braces going to work and stuff like that. So that's why in my fights I used to wear a trilby coming out and braces to pay tribute to my granddad, who was a bare knuckle boxer. And that's also why at the end of my career I had one bare knuckle boxing match at the end, just to wrap up my career. Had one fight, won the British featherweight belt, and then retired.
Yeah, I remember it was quite a quick knockout, wasn't it, as well?
Yeah, 20 seconds. Yeah,
20 seconds.
Weirdly, I didn't even get punched in the fight, you know, which I kind of felt robbed. I kind of wanted to feel like it was like, you know, in a weird.
Would you say a granddad was an inspiration for you going into that bare knuckle fight? Because you said
100%. It's like that, you know, and in a strange way, because bare knuckle wasn't really. Also, I kind of think I was quite smart, because for me, bare knuckle is not at that time it wasn't as developed as it is now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just retired from the UFC. I'm like, anyone who's going to give me problem in a fight are going to people signed in the UFC or a glove the boxer. In bare knuckle, no one's going to give me any trouble. You know? So so me, in a weird way, it's quite a smart business move. You know, I got paid good money and just knocked the guy out in 2 punches and retired again. But for me, it was like, I felt though my fighting style very much suits bare knuckle boxing. You know, like just how tough I was, how I fought, and how aggressive I was with more my hands and stuff like that. And I think striking for MMA is so much more
defensive, I'd say,
suited for bare knuckle boxing, because you get used to fighting with small gloves. You know.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. It's growing bare knuckle boxing now as well. They've got the
massive now, same as any sport. Any
Mm-hmm.
sport you'd want to do, if you start promoting it well, and paying fighters good money, you're going to attract better fighters doing it. Like if they offered, I've been offered throughout my fight career, I've been offered to do bare knuckle boxing matches a few times for 500 quid in the field, and I'm like, mate, I ain't doing that. What are you on about? Are you mental? But if once someone starts offering you good money, you're like, all right, I might do this, and when you offer more money, you're going to get the better level of fighters and stuff like that. And then that level goes up and that attracts more fighters and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I do think as well, having McGregor under the big UFC promotions definitely
That's
helping.
helped out a lot.
Yeah, definitely big time helping. I'm trying to think, is there any other big cards coming up that have just been announced? Did you see Kevin Vallejos versus Josh Emmett last night?
I didn't see the
No.
fights, but I saw the highlights of it. I find it struggling to say his name. What's his name again?
I think it's Kevin Vallejos.
Vallejos, yeah.
Vallejos.
For me, he looks like
sharp.
trouble.
Looks like a bit like Sporia.
He has, I mean, and that's a scary sort of style of fighting, when they're just tough and he just walked down and bingoed him,
It's not easy to do
he's
either.
a scary dude. And like I say, he's a scary dude, and he's someone who could maybe, trump Leon or Mosfer for a title shot, just because UFC like that sort of style and they're very fond of it, and he looks scary,
Yeah, I mean, he finished Josh Emmett, which Elite Sporia couldn't do, and his only losses to Gene Silver, which I think will be a very interesting rematch as well. That'd be a good fight.
Definitely,
yeah. Did you watch the BMF title fight, Oliveira and Holloway?
I didn't actually watch it because it's the reason I didn't watch it, but then I didn't watch it in the morning, and I was going to watch it, and I messaged my mate before I put this on, was it worth watching? And he goes, don't bother. I'm like, okay. So I didn't. So I never watched it.
It was funny.
I just heard it was a complete grappling match. For me, I get it as fighting, but for BMF belt, you're selling different products.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, and as well, it was a shame because up until really, the co-main was okay, but up until the co-main, it was the main card was great. It was like Michael Johnson got knocked out by Drew Dober. It was very very exciting card up until then, but I stayed up for it. So
it's one of those ones because I don't get to I don't like staying up. Because normally what I do is watch them early in the morning, like when I wake up. But then if I find out it's not a great card, then I'm like, what's the point? I'm so busy, I just save my time.
Yeah. So how was since retiring? This is the last question I'll ask, obviously, because it's been a very good interview so far. This is the last question I'll ask. How is your transition from fighting to coaching, and have you got any big prospects that you're coaching at the moment that you'd like to share and promote?
Well, for me, it's been coaching became quite natural for me because I coached throughout my career, kind of thing. So it was a very natural progression for me. Obviously, it was a lot different. I was very competitive as a fighter. I'm still competitive now as a coach, but I'm competitive through my fighters. I want my fighters to do really well, and the team's doing really well. But I'm not always about individuals. I'm about my team. I'm very proud of my team. I have a very strong fight team here. Like I say, we just had Nick Bagley, who just won the Cage Warriors featherweight belt. Looked great. Then we have Giovanni, Wesley Meyer on Cage Warriors London for the flyweight and bantamweight belt. And I have other guys. I have Harry Shaw, Callum, Ali Talab. I have other guys on that card, and then obviously people like Chanel and Nathaniel on the UFC, and then we have Lonnie back in Mexico with that great win. So I have so many good fighters. Some youngsters coming through. We had Delphi, who I don't know if you saw Delphi.
Yeah, I've heard of him,
yeah, he's a very good young talented fighter. So I have so many talented fighters, but in different stages of career. I have some really good amateurs like Benjamin Adozi. He's 14-2 as an amateur, and someone like Jacob Gifford. That two good level amateurs right at the end of their pro, end of the amateur moving into pro, and then have early pros. People like Adelphi, a bit like a guy called Bobby. We have good early pros. People like Callum and Connor have a lot of good early pros, and then I have the more established pros, people like the Nick Bagleys who are now in that Cage Warriors, Wesley Myers, Joanna Scott, the Cage Warriors sort of title sort of bit. Then we have people moving on from there into the UFC. You know, like people like Lonnie Kavanaugh was in Contenders not too long ago. Chanel Dye was in Contenders, and people like Nathaniel has been there for long. So I have every, and also Alfie Davis has been like the PFL world champion, tournament world champion. So yeah, I mean, I got a stacked team, you know.
Yeah, the roster seems to be crazy at the moment for you guys, and it must mean a lot to have these guys fighting at the top as well. And it must, show your level of coaching, especially to beat a guy. For example, Lona Kavanaugh beating Brandon Moreno. A lot of that comes down to the coaching that he's had, so it must mean a lot as well.
Yeah, 100% does, you know.
Yeah. But anyways, it's been so good to have you on the interview. Thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it.
No problem at all.